7:08 p.m. It's the Board of Health. We are meeting in the Slade Building. In attendance tonight is Nate, our administrator, and Kelly, our accountant, via Zoom, and we have one visitor, Mark. At this point, Judy is missing, and I'm just gonna remind everyone that this is being recorded. And is it live as well right now, or just recorded? Just recorded and will be broadcast. So the first thing on the agenda is to do a review of the last meeting minutes, which was on December 12th. And so if you could take a couple minutes to everybody.
I looked at the email.
Mhm.
But should I give everybody some time to?
I just.
Judy?
It is being broadcast.
It is being broadcast live.
And we are being broadcast live, just told.
Hey,
And here is
Judy.
Judy, as well. So would you add her to the attendance
Yep.
list, please? Judy, there's your folder. Alright.
She didn't walk away with the folder.
Give me a second. Everybody who, we're working on the minutes. Alright, Lori, did you notice anything when you read them online?
Yeah, so under 3C, where we were talking about the Hep A cases
Yes.
in the Boston area. So when it says, they had an outbreak of Hep A with 563 cases, there is no time frame included in that. The time frame was 2018 to 2020. So I didn't want that to seem like it was current. So if
Okay.
we could add that time frame to that,
Tell me one more time what it was.
2018 to 2020.
Okay.
And that was, yeah, in the Boston area.
Okay.
And the only other thing under D, when it says, they were talking about the public health, it says excellent grant, it's the excellence grant. So it's a minor
Yeah.
thing, just to
Right.
replace the T with a C and an E, but it's not the excellent grant.
One could probably say it's both.
Yeah. It's the excellence, yes, okay, yep, that's actually all I saw. But, it was a long one.
Mhm. I didn't touch those. I think I skimmed it too fast. Thank you for sending that. Do we need any more time to review the minutes? Do I hear a motion for approval of the minutes with the 2 corrections?
Yep.
Motion made by
Motion.
Lori. Who seconds?
I'll second.
Liz seconds. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So, I think at this point, I'd like to, change our agenda's order, because we have Nate here and,
Kelly.
Kelly, on Zoom to go over, our financial report, which is item 13. I'd like to bring it up to the next item on the list for tonight, so we can go through a little of that, and then we'll go back to the regular agendas. Is that okay with everyone? Yes, all right. So,
Should I just print all the stuff since we're gonna run into the problem in a couple minutes anyway? All this, did you get the email from Kelly?
yes, I
Yeah.
printed one copy.
Yeah.
At least see
I
your
looked
copy
at it, I got
and
it on my
then,
phone,
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I can look
then-
on my phone.
beautiful.
yeah.
Okay, so, in December, I was looking at the expenditures report and noticed that our Board of Health revolving account had decreased significantly to a balance of around 4,000 something. And so I went to Nate to ask what happened. And okay, there's a lot of things going on. So in that discussion, which was in his office, Judy happens to be there after meeting with Nate, and she stayed, and Nancy attended as well. And what we discussed was that Nate wasn't sure where the funds had gone. So then he contacted Kelly to look into why the numbers for the revolving account were so low. And there was a long trail of emails the next day in which Kelly stated that she used the excess revenue from the Board of Health revolving to cover the shortage in the septic revolving fund. For the inspector revolving funds, the correct split had not been done, and all the income had been going to the general fund. I made all those corrections, and we were all set with the inspector revolving funds. My response to that, to Nate and with Nancy and Judy and Kelly, was that the Board of Health members did not vote to allow you to move funds from the Board of Health revolving account to the septic revolving account fund. You and Nate made a mistake, and I expect the monies to be put back into the Board of Health revolving account. Expect a paper record of this action when completed. The excess funds in the revolving account were dedicated funds per town meeting, either 2018 or 2019, and I looked it up, it is 2019. It was the vaccine fund. There was a warrant, and we moved that fund into the BOH revolving account. And those monies were dedicated to nursing and vaccination programs. And I said I would get you the exact town meeting warrant that did that, and I have looked it up, and it's also in Kelly's report, it shows it. So then I asked for a month-to-month accounting of monies going in and out of each of those accounts starting in January of 2023. Because of the town report from the ledger history of the summary of the expenditure ledger at the end of 12/31/2022. Page. The code number of 2715 septic revolving, the balance at the end of December in 2022 was minus $10,278.25. Balance of the revolving account at the end of December 2022 was $20,509.67. Our current balance is around revolving is around 4,000 and something.
Right here.
There it is, right. Which is on which page that I have printed over here? Yeah, this one. Is $4,710.78. And the septic is no longer in the negative because the monies were moved. and it has a balance of am I right? No, that's wrong year.
The septic now has $444 in it.
Thank you. I knew it had a 4 in it. I just didn't remember
Yeah.
how much.
Yeah.
So, a couple issues are at hand. I'm sure of. Funds were moved. We were in the red. We were in the process of trying to figure out why. Last spring with all the new things Nate had to do, I had asked him if he would help me know what we should do with this red. The Board of Health has never had anything in the red, ever. And so I don't know what to do about that. I did not hear a response. However, he sent an email in May to my Board of Health computer, which I was not looking at. But did not get a response from me because I didn't see it. So the issue is monies were moved without our board's approval.
Seeing as that was completely skewed in your direction, may I please have the moment to?
Oh, sure.
So, first and foremost, Madam Chair, I do not appreciate any way in which you dealt with this ongoing issue. I have been summoned to a meeting by those who are not my appointing authority by means of legal cause. I have been told that me and members of my administration, finance staff are doing things that are illegal, and I have yet to been told why. I do not appreciate the way in which you are treating the staff in this town, both when you are coming to me and demanding I come to meetings, or yelling at Kelly and telling us that we must do things. When I am doing something within the realm of my professional competency, we have to do what is right. You cannot be in the red. The accounts need to be accounted for. It is much not my fault nor Kelly's that 4 years, 5 years of time went by without anybody really paying attention to what the employee was doing. I'm going to let Kelly kind of be the spearhead of this one because I am quite frustrated with the way this has been going. So, Kelly?
Okay, so early on in the year, it was determined, I finally had figured out when, what the issue was the money that had been paid to, the septic, inspector, that the amount of money that he was being paid, we couldn't justify on the revenue side. And so I have spent hours upon hours. When I was there in October last year, I brought home a ton of files, have gone through everything to try to figure out the revenue that came in that he was doing inspections on. The issue is what he would provide to the admin at the time to be paid gave a vague address and the amount and the day of the inspection. In the side that you all have on your side to be able to, compare this, you have a permit number, a person's name, and a date. Now, the inspector doesn't have the person's name. Most of the time it would just say a lot. There's no permit numbers, and I will tell you, I have spent hours trying to figure out a way to get this resolved, get this reconciled, figure out, did the money go to the general fund? Where did it, how did all of this transpire? And I got to the point where there was nothing I could do. I had spoken with Nate, said that we're gonna need to make this whole, we need to get this figured out. I said, at this point, on my side, there's nothing more I can do. I have run every report I can out of the permitting software. We've run every report. I have taken copies of files, and I cannot make it work. Nothing matches. So in May, the email that that Nate sent, to Kathy said that there was the shortfall and that I would be, reclassing the money for the inspector's pay to cover that deficit. So that is in the amount of $13,195, okay? Everything else because I went back to 2020 and I've worked every year since. As far as I know, there's no other expenses in that account, the Board of Health account, that shouldn't be there, unless it's something I just don't know. So that's why I did the summary page that I sent you today that has every payment that has been made out. You've got Amazon, there was a reimbursement to Kathy, you paid City of Fitchburg, City of Gardner, E.L. Harvey, the Gatehouse, Ken Sutherland, and so on and so forth, but you can see that in the email, or the spreadsheet that I sent. The only thing I can think of is when I looked back at the general fund, summary of the Board of Health fees, there is in 21, there was, a lot of the money put in there, so that's the only thing I can think of. Because when the department gets a check, okay, they fill out the cover sheet and give that check with the check to the treasurer for it to be deposited. They tell us what account it needs to go to. That's not our discretion to decide where that money is gonna go. So if the admin gives us an account number to put it to, that's where it goes. That's the only thing that I can see on this that could have been part of the issue of why there wasn't enough money in the septic revolving to cover, the pay that was made to that inspector. So that's what I can tell you. Any questions you can have, I would be more than happy to try to, help you or whatever I need to do. I just would like to get this resolved and completed and done. I've been working on this over a year, and I kind of thought until, this just happened in December that, we were finally done with this, but apparently not. So, I just need to know what we need to do to get this resolved.
Thank you. And I agree with you that it is rather confusing as to what happened. I do have a question on your summary of payroll paid to Mallory of $4,343.68.
Yes.
Do you know when that occurred?
That was, hold on, let me pull up my spreadsheet here. Okay, let's see, in fiscal 2020, it was $1,065.74. So that was in fiscal 20. And then in fiscal 21, she was paid $3,277.94.
Okay. On our side, I would like to look into the fiscal 2021 fees that she charged for payroll.
Okay.
I do know that there was a short time that, we were paying out of the revolving account for her to come to meetings to record, write the minutes. However, I don't know that that was also being done in 2021 and under any approval, so I just wanna look into that part.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions about some of these different things that were paid from the revolving account?
I guess my question to you, Madam Chair, is why are you so fixated on, these are all your accounts?
Correct. feel very sad that I couldn't pay attention to things
Life happens, Kathy.
because of life happening.
Life happens, Kathy.
And so I feel guilty
Oh.
that we didn't catch this. And I feel insulted that monies were moved without consulting us many times in the last few years, and you're getting the brunt of the end of the line of problems, and apologize for that.
It's okay, Kathy. We're here to figure it out, and we're here to do the right thing, no matter what.
Because it is clear to me that there has been a misappropriation of funds ongoing in a couple different years, not just last May with moving funds from the revolving account to a red lined septic account without letting us be involved. Once more, we're not being involved.
Please note that you were involved.
I was
Your-
not notified it was going to
Your email
happen.
that says Board of Health 1 is very much what one would assume is
But if
your
you did
Board of
not
Health
get a
email.
reply, an acknowledgement of any kind, why didn't you get on the phone and call me? Why didn't you call anyone else on the board? Why didn't you call Nancy? No response from,
Nancy was CC'd on the email.
I did not get it. Nobody gave me notice, or anyone else on the board. And I am, as you can tell, more than frustrated about the misappropriation of funds when I have sought to trust what was going to be done by the appropriate people.
And they-
I am
that was-
sorely
that was before
disappointed
your
in all
time,
of
a
that.
lot of this.
Almost all of this was before my time.
And most of it has been, but you added to it, and I'm sorry, because you're the one here now, yes, I've been very frustrated to you,
It's okay.
and that's why this is not the way things should go. So, I feel that at this point, I am not 100% clear what action still needs to be done, other than I feel very strongly that the monies from the closed vaccine revolving account, which were put in the Board of Health revolving account in 2019, per town vote at the town meeting that year, should still be in that fund.
Would that bring the septic back into the red? Cause you can't have negative accounts.
But you just depleted the vaccine, which puts that in a negative to cover.
So now the vaccine fund is in a
Is in a
negative
negative.
status.
And that was set up for the purpose of, like she said, for vaccines, purchases related.
And the
And
nursing
nursing.
services to provide that.
Yeah,
How much money was that?
It was exactly
well, I.
$18,876.09.
And you used none of it?
We used exactly,
600, you said?
where is it? In 2020, we spent $618 to buy a refrigerator. That was in March, so that we could run our own COVID clinic.
And
Now, the
And
co-
then the state stepped.
And then the state stepped in. We were ready to be one of the areas like Rutland, under Rutland's umbrella. We were fully approved by everyone, but then the state came in and said, no, everything has to be regional,
So
smaller
somehow,
towns. So the
somehow,
only
someway-
funds taken out based on purpose, the purpose of that fund being in the Board of Health was $618. That would leave a balance of $18,200 something dollars.
Okay. Even if even if we were to take the septic, the $13,000 out of there, you still would not have that 18,000. So all of these other expenses that you've had that have come out of that fund, you've not taken in enough revenue to cover those expenses and then leave the vaccine intact.
Correct. There is also another, payments that have been made to, Mark Popham, for that $18,362. Those, monies are paid, and have been paid through 2019. I haven't verified for 20 through 23. They are required by the state for two landfill soil and water testings per year. This past year it was over $9,800 for the 2 tests, which are required by the state for us. We have, as a board, from the time Tom Lawson was chairman, he's been tried numerous times to have the state stop requiring us to do this testing, or at least decrease the amount of testing, because everything is always clear and negative. We have not succeeded in that in multiple attempts, which is, I brought that up to your attention to try and look at another way of finding some other state funds to cover that expense. In the past, up through 2019, that amount was budgeted through the, where is it? General Town Fund, account 001. Looked it up. Where did I find it?
As far as I know, that has never been budgeted in the general fund since I've been here, in 2020. The land use board of health, there's never been that much in the budget for, that bill to be paid there. It's always been paid out of the board of health revolving. And that's every fiscal year since I've been here.
And once again, because we have had multiple town administrators in town, out of town, a guy subbing in because the one fellow was serving in the military, then he comes back, he leaves, we have someone else as town administrator. And again, because I'm trusting the system to work as it had been working, I did not catch that until I started reviewing all of this past little bit of time. And up through June 30th, 2019, and it was passed at town meeting, it was under the general fund. It was designated, I gotta find the right page. Excuse me. Thought I highlighted it.
Is it that red circle, Kathy?
Nope, that's revolving.
We put the money where your employee tells us to, unless it is obviously mistaken. So there's a very large difference between what my predecessors would have caught and what previous employees of the Board of Health could have and did do. There's no point in blaming anybody.
Well, I'm not. What I'm saying is, that's the last year that I know that was paid for. And we
And
still had to approve that payment, but it would be entered under general fund account. Oh dear. Why can't I see it?
And the 19 is in our old accounting software, and I have not been able to connect with that. I've got to work with CM Geeks. Until we got through all of this, I didn't want to spend the additional time working with them if it
Sure.
was something that I didn't need to look into, but I will get with them and work with them and see what we can do to get me back connected in there so that I can do that, look at the 2019.
Would you look through that? For
But I
some
know
reason,
everything
I'm
we
not
had in the
seeing
new
it.
accounting system from FY '20 to now, those payments have all been put to the Board of Health revolving.
regardless of the past, if we were to do what you want and move the $13,000 back, how and when do you bring the septic account into the positive?
That was my question to you, which I did not get an answer for. I don't know yet. I suspect that we need to.
What was the amount that was moved from the vaccine account to the septic account? 13, did you say?
Yeah, the payments to the inspector was $13,195.
Okay, and that came out of the vaccine account? 'Cause it
Which
Yes.
is the part, which was, is.
That still wouldn't have left the vaccine account in a negative, so right now you're saying that the vaccine account is in negative, is in zero.
No, I'm saying that monies that are in the revolving account are only at $4,710.78. So I think,
13 plus that's right around your
I'm
18.
sorry. so yeah, that would bring that right back up.
Okay.
Basically, we.
Yeah,
Ev-
do you
everyone-
We
have-
have the septic,
Everyone is.
we have the septic that.
It was messed up before we all were at the table.
Yes, and I think there was a lot of misappropriation going on. And I think,
So fees
and
weren't being
switching
paid
over to the new
for the septic
system
inspections,
did
is
not
that what-
help, because I think a lot of this started
We were overpaying
before
for septic
2019.
inspections.
I think a lot of this started maybe back as
So we-
2018.
So some of the, Judy is saying that some of the misappropriation and mix-up of how these funds were set up and the codes that they were using had started in 2018, she suspects.
Yeah.
She could be
Yeah.
right,
And that was before I got here.
right, and it was under a different accounting system, correct?
And
Correct,
I
yes.
think, and my
And so-
feeling is that when things got transferred over into their new system, a lot of stuff, at least on the Board of Health point, got tangled. So,
Yeah.
the accounts we have right now, you have a septic system, right, that has $444,
Right.
right, and that pays like right now Phil Ledger.
We don't have
Yes.
to bill anymore, or do we?
Yes,
No.
he's our sanitarian.
So the septic system is pays what?
Right, it pays for our
Yeah.
sanitarian,
Okay.
that's correct.
Alright, I'm just trying to keep all this. Alright, and then we have a revolving account, which is where the fees go into that revolving account.
The fees for, food,
Building,
building,
Yeah.
installers, trash haulers, and such.
and right now that has 4,000,
$710.78, as the system sits today.
Side note,
Yeah.
we're doing a fee review, so in your next 2-3 meetings, we should be coming forward to you with
Yeah.
some documentation.
okay. So, and then the vaccine account right now has 0,
Because it's been it was put into the revolving account,
okay.
and
But you
that
said that was only
money's,
13,000, right?
that was.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so we had 18 minus 13 is 5, how come we got a 0?
So that's something we need to figure out, yeah.
So why
Okay,
is it 0?
So, if you take the 18 that you started with, okay,
Mhm.
and with what deposits that have gone into that over the last 5 years, with all of the other expenses, which I think a big part of it from now what we're talking about is the payments that were made to Mark Popham. Because the payments to pay him over the last 5 years is $18,000. So if that's money that you were not expecting to be paying out of that revolving, and it's been coming out for the last 5 years, that's gonna be the biggest probably chunk, along with this 13,000 that we had to pay, or that's had to pay, to cover that payroll for him. So that you've only, so, how do I say this?
So basically, you're telling me we're stealing from Paul to pay Peter, or Peter to pay Paul, whatever way that goes. So we stole from the vaccine to you know, to float the expenses for Mark Popham, which is the,
$18,362.
and that's the.
For the land.
The landfill.
Yeah.
Which is always, we did have funds for that set aside at one point, but with the, request by the state to keep doing that for twice a year, even though we've asked multiple times since the early 2000s to, get that dropped to annual. So we've been stealing from the vaccine, and, cause at one point, the last time I looked at the vaccine, there was $5,000 in it, and then Kathy said, no, that's 18,000,
I'm
so.
unsure if stealing is the appropriate word. When you have,
Borrowing from?
when, no,
Borrowing
when
permanently?
you have to buy less groceries because you have to pay your taxes, is that stealing?
Yes.
I disagree, but
I like to keep all accounts nice and tidy.
I wish.
So
So,
basically,
yeah.
we're just dealing with 3 accounts here. Now, do we have any other accounts that we need to worry about?
No, the other inspector accounts, the revolving accounts are okay. I've gotten those, they weren't coded appropriately and I've got that all taken care of. So, the plumbing inspector and, all that stuff is cleared up. So it's just these 2, accounts that you have the questions on.
So my premise that things weren't coded correctly and may have be valid with this changeover to the new system for some of this.
I'd say less changeover with new system, more changeover, more turnover. Like, I think the problem is turnover and how papers were coded when turned into the finance offices, not necessarily what was turned over from one finance software to another.
So that might be a good premise, so a lot of stuff got screwed up as much as 5 years ago.
For 5 to 7 years, yeah.
So is that issue rectified? Like, is the paperwork?
Nancy, for all intents and purposes, is doing it correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, she keeps rechecking and,
And that's something we would catch now. Like, if she was not doing it correctly, we're
she's-
sitting here having a full conversation about it. We can look the next time we do one of those to ensure that this is correct. We also have to remember that, and I hate using this one, it was a global pandemic. We had a tremendous amount of turnover. It stinks. This whole conversation is not fun.
I do not have an answer for you as to how to resolve it. And I had asked for some suggestions from you. That was not provided, so now I'm going to reach out to other areas to find out how we can handle this. Because I don't have an answer, I don't have the skill set to know how to resolve this. This is not Kelly's fault, she is doing good bookkeeping. And I appreciate all the time that you've spent because you have sorted it out well. So now we need to figure out how do we get this resolved.
There's one more step. I think you need to get connected to the old system.
Yeah, I will do that.
I think
I will
there's
work
more
with them and get that.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to keep your detective hat on and keep researching it out and see, and then come back to us with whatever you can find.
Okay. And then, Kathy, as far as you're saying of how to resolve it, if you're meaning resolving the negative account, at this point, the only thing that could possibly happen to make this resolve is that it would have to go to town meeting and the town would have to vote free cash to cover that deficit. And at this point, the town isn't in a financial position to be able to do that. It's like Nate just said, the whole thing here stinks. I hate that all this has happened, but everything is positive right now. It may not be how we like it, but there's no way to, the only way to resolve this is to go to town meeting, ask for the voters to give free cash to cover this deficit. That would be the only way to resolve it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way.
So moving into the annual meeting coming up, since that vaccine, are we going to keep that as a line item and start putting something back in it? And when it was originally put on the annual meeting by Sandy Knight, it was originally, my understanding, if I remember it right, it was to be like $1,000. It was supposed to be like a little cash pot that we just kept like a savings account. And it was just supposed, it wasn't supposed to grow in any way. It was just supposed to be a little pot there, sitting for that just in case moments. We were, at one point, when I was way back in the 90s, we also had a little pot that was also just supposed to sit there, and it wasn't supposed to grow, but it was supposed to have funds in it for things like hoarding situations or condemned housing that needed to be knocked down, because that falls on us. And we have no money, so if we have a hoarding situation that we stumble over, or we have a house that needs to be knocked down, we have nothing.
I completely get it, because another situation of this is during the 2019-2020 cuts, we cut all of the tree warden's budget.
Yeah.
There are plenty of trees that
Trees
need to
there.
come down. There,
Yeah.
and we have $0, because during different budget cuts, they took from different points.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work towards
Having little pots.
being able to do things like that.
Mm.
But when we are dealing with a situation where the regional school district is coming in, and I hate blaming them, but when they're coming in at 13%, 14%.
Yeah.
Last year, the general municipal budget for anything that wasn't the school went up by, I wanna say $11,000 throughout the whole, everything else, the other $4 million that wasn't the school system. So it gets really tough to not have to cut services. And yeah, like, I've been sounding like a broken record with this since the day I started my job here.
Yeah.
But that's the unfortunate truth, that it is very difficult with the way things are set up to do anything but keep our head above the water and fund a school system. And I'm pro-education, like, let that be like 150%. But I'm also pro-public safety and public health and having roads.
And those are the two pieces that are gonna come back and bite us in the butt unless we figure out how to preserve public health and how to preserve public safety.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a couple of suggestions, but we won't go into that tonight.
Did we ever figure out where the Holden Hospital funds were going that we're not getting?
The Holden Hospital account, Nate asked us to find the original document citing how it was stated in that document at the courthouse. I have not received it from there. I have gotten from a fellow health inspector that two names of two people, one in Paxton and one in Holden, who were involved with that long history, because that happened back in about 1994-95 when it was set up and went through the court system. And I just got that information recently. I happened to call the other day, and like us, they're small towns, they were not in the office, so I'm still trying to reach those people to see if we can find the actual court docket that states how those funds were or were not to be appropriated, because Nate has stated that the letter that he has on file says it's to go only to EMS systems,
So long and
emergency.
short,
So the town
And-
is still getting it, but it's all going to fire.
I have a signed letter that says that it goes to fire. we have a draft version by Seth Knipe's dad where he requests a split, but it is not signed. We do not have any sort of signed legal document
Although we have
stating.
votes, after vote, after vote, after votes.
You guys said this for the last year, and I have yet to be presented with
Do you
votes
want
after
me to
votes
bring
after
it,
votes.
look in your
Oh,
annual town.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you needed to have them copied from the files,
No, we don't.
because they're in the
They're in
vault,
the
and
annual town,
they're in the
they're
annual
in the town
town meeting minutes,
reports.
starting 1995.
yes. Cause
And
I
going
pulled a
on,
whole
yeah.
bunch out.
Well, and it'd be in the old accounting thing too, right, showing
Well,
that
prior
the Board of
to.
Health got those funds every
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
And we did.
But, okay, so when
That's a
I
separate
started,
issue, yeah.
one of the things that, I made sure that I tried to understand each one of the funds that we had and what the spending was. At that time, and I do see in the town meetings where you have split, the Holden Hospital funds, part for Board of Health, and part for, the emergency services. I have the actual document from November 23rd, 1994, that specifically says, it's like 4 pages, and it goes into the specifics of what the funds can be used for, and there's nothing in any of this document that talks about Board of Health. So I
That's
don't know, that's what we've been asking Kathy to provide, is that we need something, where did, at that time, did anyone feel from this document that it was, the Holden Hospital funds were meant to be used for Board of Health?
What were the
Because
four
there's nothing in
things?
this document from 1994.
Okay, what were the 4 items that it did list, besides EMS?
But a misconstrued issue from the past does not give us the right to continue making the issue.
I think you're wrong, but,
Okay, here they are.
cause it's listed in the annual, there's 4 items
I
listed in the
understand that, but if
annuals.
it's not listed on this original document that's been signed, that
Yeah.
mistakes happen.
Yeah,
It
this
could be
was,
local, it could be
these are the
local
only 3
jurisdiction.
legitimate expenses for Holden Hospital that's in the official documents that were filed, with the court system. And it says, to contribute to the cost of emergency services and transportation, emergency communication costs and facilities for local or regional ambulance service. To contribute to the cost of operating any emergency medical, technical or paramedic transport service or equipment. To contribute to the cost of training and educating emergency medical technicians or paramedics. Those are the only things in this document that says that's what the Holden Hospital funds were to be used for.
Do you have a docket number, case number from Worcester County?
Let me see.
That would help me try and get the actual copy of it.
The copy that I have, the only thing it has is, a signature on it for the town of Holden, but it doesn't give a docket number.
So we're back to square one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but that's why we've asked is, because there has to be, at some point, there
Sure.
had to be some sort of document you had that led the town of Hubbardston to believe that you could spend this on Board of Health, stuff. And we have found nothing in any of the files to indicate that, other than it had just been voted, you've just been voting to do that.
And there 100% is a draft document from Chief Knipe Senior
Right.
that is not signed. Like, there is 100% that document. I am not,
Right.
Opposed
I
to
know
that.
that,
Yeah, like
I
that-
know it, and
that's-
it's not signed.
and it is not
that's
signed.
where we stand, as it's just hanging. I
The
apologize
original
in that
discussion
I
was for
have,
health education.
I have a full business to run by myself. I volunteer on this, and a couple other things. And so, yes, it is sitting open because this is one of the lower things on my priority list. So I will make time this winter to solve it.
My mission before I come off the board again, so.
Okay? All right, I'll find it for you, Kelly.
Okay,
We'll get it solved one way or the other. Thank you.
okay.
Do you have any other questions, Nate?
Didn't really have any questions when I was asked to be here. I just feel like we didn't solve anything.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Do you have any other questions or anything, Kelly?
I don't, but I will work with CM Geeks and get connected to the old software and see what I can find in there, to make sure that, the appropriate amounts got transferred. I did that at the time, but, maybe I did miss something, I don't know, but I will triple check that and make sure, and I will send an email to all of you to let you know what I've discovered, and if there's any additional, information. And I'll also scan you this, document of the Holden Hospital so you can have that for your files.
Thank you. That would be wonderful.
Okay?
At this point, if there's nothing else to be said, I'd like to return back to our regular agenda and move forward. And if you guys want to leave, that's okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Moving on, we have item number 3, which is the COVID-19 flu/Maven update.
They're not being reported in the Maven, and also, and Public Health Network, Massachusetts is also still monitoring that account, because their names are popping up as having gone in there and seen the cases. They're not completing the cases, so I've been going back behind and at least signing them off so they're not on a docket anymore. But we've only had 22 cases since June 1st that have been documented as COVID. And we've only had 6 cases of flu that's been documented since the beginning of December. In 8 cases. 6 out of the 8 were children under 18.
Where
And
does-
2
where does-
cases were adults.
Where does the documentation come from? Like, where would somebody, would a
If
doctor?
they go and
or-
they're actually
yeah.
tested at the hospital
Yeah.
Or in a doctor's
Or-
office.
And then it gets from the
or a
labs.
clinic or something like that,
But
then,
if they don't go to the
but,
doctor.
right, most
Exactly. If they do a home
cases
kit,
are doing the home testing
Says
kit.
you're positive for COVID, no one's reporting it.
The particular virus that we have running around right now, if one person brings it home, it goes right through the whole family, lickety-split. So, what I have been hearing also from those that have been, had COVID, this particular virus that's floating around right now, that they're getting over it quickly, and that they've been following the 5-day rule, which is nice to know that we've got enough people trained out there that they know that if they're sick, that they need to stay home at least
Businesses,
5 days.
Schools, 5
Doesn't matter
days.
whether it's RSV, flu, or just plain cold, stay home 5 days. And again, I've been saying over and over to anybody I can talk to, get your COVID vaccine and get your flu vaccine. This is not going to be a nice winter for skipping out on it.
Right, then they said nationally that the number of cases in the last
They're
month
increasing,
is
16% increase in Massachusetts for
Oh, wow.
hospitalizations, and darn well that's gonna climb up to 20 to 25%.
Right.
Easily, because the peak season for, winter viruses is February 14th. That's when you hit the peak, and then it comes down. So we got another 6 weeks ahead of us before we even hit that week, that peak. So again, get your vaccinations.
Mhm.
Of course, it peaks on Valentine's Day.
That would be the worst thing you wanna have.
Lori, did you get any numbers from the school?
No,
Okay,
they were on vacation.
Sure.
So this would have been, they've only been back 4 days, but I have not talked to Raya, I haven't been in there because of my knee. I'm going in tomorrow morning to help her though.
oh, thank you.
But, did you do the Maven MIIS webinar for local boards of health? Did you attend that one?
No. That's a
I
whole
did.
training.
I did, and it was for local boards of health, so
Mhm.
that's why I got on. That was January 9th, at 11 a.m. And one of the big takeaways that I got was that they were saying that MIIS for the local board of health, there should be at least 2 people with access to MIIS on the board of health, just in case, Judy, you were not able
Mhm.
to get on, or something was going on with you and
Yep.
you were ill, that somebody else should be able to get on and be checking the things. And they went through running reports, they went through doing all kinds of how you look for all the information in there, for by town, by age, by all this. It was very informative, actually. I am familiar with Maven because I was doing the contact tracing during COVID.
Mhm.
So I had a little bit of information on that anyway, but this was actually really good. But you are our town access to Maven, correct?
Mhm.
So all you would have to do is go in and you can add other people from the board.
Okay.
So if you wanted to add, I don't know, 1 or 2 of us, at least that way we have a backup. And then if we wanted to pull reports and look at stuff on Maven, we could do that.
Okay, so is this Maven or MIIS? Says MIIS.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's MIIS, but it's
Okay. Yeah.
it's still, it's the Maven system.
Well, Maven feeds into MIIS,
Yes.
yeah.
Exactly.
And MIIS is a massive
Are you saying
database.
MIIS?
Yes.
Massachusetts
Massachusetts.
Immunization.
Information system.
Okay.
Yes, it's what the schools use now
Okay.
for immunization updates.
And the doctor's offices are supposed to?
Yeah, so
And
the
the
doctor,
hospitals?
the doctor's office puts it in.
Yeah.
By state law, they're required to put it in unless you say, I don't want my kid's stuff put in,
Yeah.
or my stuff put in.
Mhm.
And then the school has access to it.
Mhm.
So we pull up the student in SNAP, which is our program that we use, at EMR basically, and it syncs with MIIS.
Okay.
So it downloads all those vaccines from the doctor's office right into our EMR.
Okay.
So we know what vaccines kids do and don't have.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
a tracking for infectious disease, basically. If you have a diagnosis, blah, 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 that's not going to go in.
Mhm.
But all your immunizations
Just
and,
vaccines.
it's a
Okay.
tracking.
Or if you had a reportable disease,
Right.
that would be in there.
Like
under
hepatitis or something like that,
Yeah.
that would go in.
Yeah, just reportable diseases, but, yeah. But it sounded like that's
But
what
it is
they,
a massive database.
yep, they want at least a couple people to be able to access that.
Okay, well,
They had
I'll
some new
put your name on it.
respiratory disease dashboards, and they had all kinds of, it was actually really good. It was
Yeah.
really good, I was glad I attended that one.
All right, I'll get you on it.
Thank you for doing that.
Yep. One more
Anything-
thing to do.
One more.
One more thing.
Yeah, anything, any other updates at this point?
I also attended the webinar from the local board of health bi-weekly webinar, did we go on that one?
I'm always out during those times.
Yeah, it was the same day. So it was
Yeah.
2 webinars in one day, so I just sat home and did webinars. But, they talked about the Elder Protective Service program, that was basic stuff we know. They introduced some of the MDPH commissioner stuff. They talked about MEMA and storm coordination, nothing really earth-shattering there. And then they talked about warming centers and how to set them up and that kind of stuff. And they mentioned the MRC twice
Oh, good.
with a really, really good, recommendations, use these people, they're good, they know what they're doing. So I thought that was really good, I wrote MRC mentioned twice. But anyway, yes, so I did attend those 2.
Considering what I heard about, the MRC from the network the Monitors and Network, is that
Oh.
they weren't using the MRC because they would have to train the MRC volunteers.
We don't need any training.
Yeah, I sat there, I said, we did 100,000 vaccinations.
COVID shots, I know. How many COVID shots did we get? Yeah.
No,
We
I don't
need
think
to
we
be
need trained.
Okay, so that's, I think that's it, Kathy, for the COVID Maven stuff.
Thank you.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so we have numerous Title V forms that have come in. The first of which is from 1 Dogwood Road South, which passes.
Wow, Dogwood.
It's a popular
Yeah,
area.
you guys are,
Well,
Um,
south and north, I guess, two separate roads for the south.
well, everybody's moving away from you.
Ah.
Okay, I'm gonna pass that around to look at. A second one from
I think it gets passed.
46. Did I say 1 Dogwood?
Yes,
Yeah,
1 Dogwood Road
And then the next
South.
one is 46 Dogwood Road North.
It's got 40 PVC.
Is this a read? It must be it's not new.
No, it's got poorly.
Trying to figure out where that is. Oh, is this 68 here? And Dogwood South would be here? I think, so they're on the corner. You're the one, the sand volleyball court right on the corner there, I think. I think that's 1 Dogwood South.
Freeway,
Yeah, it
pretty
passed.
standard.
The next one that's come in is 53 Dogwood North. I believe all of these were done in, am I not right? I didn't look at the dates. Were done in December.
No wonder, they must be selling,
Yeah, it must be.
because it's not a repair or anything, they just, Title V, they must be selling.
Trying to get the heck out. Usually they're trying to get the
Well,
heck in.
before-
Hey, it's an interesting fact that we are actually shrinking in population.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's surprising.
Well, you have to remember too, the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission at one point said, you know, Hubbardston was going to have 10,000 people by the year 2010, I think it was.
I'm interested to see how the next census comes out, the next big census too, because I think a lot of people did sneak their way out of the pandemic census, specifically out in the deep woods. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting to see how the next one kind of spikes a little bit more than the last one shrunk. Because our town numbers versus the big census numbers are a couple hundred off.
Did the home evaluations just change recently?
Yeah. Just printed mine out.
Aren't they usually lower than,
They said,
the value you could sell it for?
yeah.
By $100,000, $150,000, $200,000.
Mine's 20,000 more than what this estimate is.
Please fill, don't go by this estimate,
Well,
but
okay,
please.
but they're pretty accurate. If any, you know.
I wish this estimate was accurate for my house. Reach out to the assessors.
But if anything, it would have been,
Yeah.
yeah, it's 20,000 for this estimate,
All
they're at
right,
better value.
the next
Yeah.
one is from,
Give me a call this
That
week,
was
and-
passed.
Or just reach out to the assessors.
the next one that passed is from
Same thing.
5 Ragged Hill Road.
Is that on the right or the left as you're going down? That'd be-
There's no fail.
Yeah. We already had some that had to be redone in my
All right,
neighborhood, and the houses aren't even that old.
So I'm gonna hold off on passing, number E on our agenda and go to, 48 Gardner Road. also passed.
Okay. But
So
then I
that's-
have
Okay.
water,
Water
mitigation.
treatment discharge, water treatment. Oh, so the treatment
They've
stuff
got
is
a-
going out.
Going out that
Here.
way. Yeah. They must have a filter on their water.
Yeah, I guess they don't want it going into the septic.
No, it's full salt.
See, but it's, everybody
But
in
the fruit
Hubbardston,
trees must like it, they're, things that.
everyone in
the whole road.
Hubbardston but you has their water treated, guys, it's so hard. Everybody does.
The gravel just poured in the ditch, oh my god.
I think Gaggy Pump ran around and did every new build in this town.
Yeah, there's this little piece of Ware River that runs in.
Yeah, you sitting right on top of it, you lucky duck.
Alright, the 48 Garden Road also passed.
Right, one that failed is coming up.
Yeah.
Gardner.
So I would like to make a motion that we, once you get to review all of these, 1 Dogwood Road South, 46 Dogwood Road North, 53 Dogwood North, 5 Ragged Hill Road,
Oh, boy, now we're
and
getting-
48 Gardner Road that all pass, that you,
Yeah.
approve,
So it's on the corner.
Yeah, that's a,
the review
Existing
of these
Breezy Hill
documents.
Plaza. Oh, so this is in Breezy Hill? This is Breezy
yeah,
Hill.
this is crazy. Is he selling it? Yeah, they had to redo this whole.
This is where the
they
vet,
had,
the
they had
vet's
to,
in here and the yoga
Yeah.
studio's in here, I don't know what's in there now.
they had to redo the Breezy Hill septic system over, 1 year. This must be it.
So, I think I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it the wrong way.
Yeah, this is
No.
High Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's High Street. That is Gardner Road. Come
So
in.
they just have one
Here's the
big
building.
septic for that entire plaza?
Well, it failed there was, at one point it failed and they had to rebuild the whole thing.
So the fire station
It is
is
part of.
part of this?
Yes, well, yes.
And they just had it Title V done in it passed.
Right,
So they're
after
getting
everything
ready
was,
to
Wait,
sell
where is
that
this?
whole plaza then.
Maybe.
Well, hopefully the landlord keeps
well,
up
they
the
had,
maintenance
they
part.
had failed, they had work done, and now it's passed with a
Great.
different inspector,
Okay.
because everything's up to date now, so that's a good thing.
They had to completely redo it some years back too.
The last one that's come through, for review only is, is 7 Williamsville Road cutoff. And there is an outlet baffle, that's corroded and fell off, outlet pipe is unattached. And so some of these are the reasons, for the failure.
I thought there was only one house on that cutoff.
7 Williamsville cutoff. High liquid and a high liquid level.
It goes behind, it's off of 68.
So if you wanna,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
but she would know better, cause she drives by it every day.
there is one new construction on there.
There's a new construction on it?
Yeah, there's a home.
I know, I thought there was only one home on the cutoff though,
Yeah, there's 2.
2.
Okay. Okay with the approval, me to sign off on the past ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they just needed the baffle repair on this one.
Alright, so but the work hasn't been done yet, or it hasn't been re-inspected yet?
No.
Okay. So we'll see
Coming.
this one, we'll see this one come back after.
yeah.
What did it have?
Baffle pipe.
Oh, a bunch of
Something, yeah.
like a clear.
Yeah, so no, we'll repair it, we'll see it again.
Yep.
Oh, that's,
Yeah,
That's embarrassing.
that happens.
with you. Liz. No. Only if she's not here. Those are the rules.
Yeah, that's actually true.
See, I know something. Very little, but I know something. I know I meant to go check out the lights this year and I never got a chance to.
We saw your house.
Yeah, so my husband was like,
Who won?
who won? Somebody up on, was it Templeton?
Templeton, I think, yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna drive and go
It was
see
good.
who beat us and we.
Hale Road had a really good one.
Really?
Really good, yeah.
Wow, were they on the,
Yeah.
they were part of it?
Yeah.
I
But
should've
I
gone
don't think
out.
anyone went to
That's-
see it, so.
I went to see the one on Harrow, I saw some of the one in Templeton too.
Yeah, so was
Yeah,
in
the
Templeton
one-
good?
Yeah.
Was Hale Road good? Am I thinking
They have a really good spot. Like the new Templeton Road, it opens
Right
wide
at the
up, you can
bridge.
see it, and people are driving by already, so.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
I
down
think
by the bridge.
that played.
Nice.
I mean,
Love me some Christmas lights.
ours were really good.
I,
Not that good.
although I think I would've voted for, I like the one up on, what's that one up on the hill? Off of, Route 62, what's that road that goes up the hill?
Don't know.
Goes way up, I can't remember. I've only been on the road like twice.
To see the lights, probably.
Yeah.
Only time
But they
anyone
had
drives
a nice
around.
one. Very nice.
I used to like driving by when the resident right over there at the
Oh,
Four
yeah.
Corners did his house all up and
Yeah,
dancing
yeah.
a
It's
snowman
like, what
outfit.
happened?
I don't know. Probably just
I
got
was
tired of doing
looking
it.
forward to seeing that
Or
this
somebody
year.
got sick or, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of lights, so I'm sure.
I don't
Yes.
recall
And
that,
then
so
there
it
used to be
must have been
somebody
a
across
while.
the street and they were like battling,
Oh, yeah.
they would battle the two
Oh,
houses, but
that's
then I
fun.
know they moved, the ones on the
Yeah.
right moved and the ones on the left kinda.
I still have a
Is this at
picture of the
62?
one on the corner.
Yeah, no,
Before that.
but at the school, so if people went to turn down
Oh.
to the school, it's that intersection, our
Oh,
one
alright.
flashing yellow light.
I've
Yeah.
gotten everything
Oh, we have
signed,
two.
so we'll get back on track, okay?
Wait, you wanna talk about lights?
They were gorgeous. They were everywhere. No problem there. Next on the agenda is water tests, well completion forms, and, DEP sent out a sanitary survey report for Silverleaf Hollow condos, and they have, a number of items, to give you a quick summary, that have to outstanding actions that they need to take. And that's starting on page 19. So I'm gonna let you see the shortened version of it, cause I reviewed it earlier. So this is to make us aware of it, and that we should expect, follow-up from the Silverleaf Hollow condos, by, I think the earliest one needs to be done by April, if I remember right.
Yeah.
For
And then
correction
there's
of,
one-
their deficits in their system.
Okay.
So they're on one well, the whole system, the whole group down there?
That's the way it reads.
I'm surprised.
And I am surprised too, but maybe I misread it.
I mean, 'cause they sell those homes down there as individual units, and then they buy into an association. I'm so a little surprised. They've been around for a long time.
I mean, if
They're the
well-
ones that are down by, across from Rieta.
Yeah, the well can support them all, I guess.
So what, how many units are down there? They're two-story condominiums, are really attached housing is what they are. That's why I said I'm surprised
think
they're on
there's-
one well.
1, 2, maybe
There's 3
10,
buildings?
I think there's 10,
10 units or 10 buildings?
no,
10 units. 3 buildings, 10 units.
yeah,
Alright.
I don't know, I'll have to go walking over there, I guess.
So we're gonna see something come back once
Right.
this stuff has been done and DEP will
Yep.
say it's been
Right.
resolved. Okay.
I will make a note that we did look at the report. The next thing to look at is, the last update from 5 Navajo on their FAST system. And basically, everything is now corrected and up to date.
So that's the one, the alarm went off, they went, fixed it, but said it needed to be pumped and we just needed
And other
proof that it was
things
pumped.
needed to be fixed, and that's what this is
All
showing
right.
us, okay?
Then it's
It's
now
all
been,
done?
it's now been pumped.
Double check, but I believe I read that correctly.
What's the address? Oh, okay.
Right? And we, all we were waiting for was them to pump it, right? Because
Yeah.
the company said it needed to be pumped and.
Yeah, this is the one that had that fancy system.
Yeah, that actually alarms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything saying it was pumped. Let's see.
Fast.
Start up
Up the
the
fast
system. Is this a new fast system?
No. We only have a couple of these in
I
town.
thought the alarm had gone off on Gardner Road.
I thought so too.
I thought that was
So
the
is this a
little.
different one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the
They
installation
had
of a new
a two-pump
fast
system on Gardner Road. They had a two-tank.
Yes.
One filtered from one tank to the other.
No, wasn't that this one?
No,
That was Gardner Road, they had the two?
yeah,
But that alarm went off as well?
Well, cause it's a fast system.
This looks like it's an installation.
correct. We're just
This is the kind of.
following up.
Inspection and testing.
Yeah.
This is the kind of system they have like down on the Cape.
Well, I guess, you know, if your septic is failing and it sends an alarm, it's probably not a bad idea to be
Yeah.
notified, right, as soon as possible, while the thing's failing. They came out and fixed it, right, so.
So then
Okay, the next items on the agenda are permits for 2024. We have 3 installer permits today. First one is from American Site Corp. These are all listed. Robert Ruggiero, owner. And the second one is from Jeffrey Hackala from Hackala Brothers. And the third one is from Massachusetts Landscape Construction. Applicant is Mark Sinkovich. And Nancy has done a great job of making sure all the monies are, as you'll see in the,
And they're all from out of town, correct? No one's from
Yes.
Hubbardston, they don't have that.
no, Hackla is in town and the section that's needed to sign off that no taxes are owed,
Okay.
has been signed off on. So if, by action of signing, we are approving these, okay?
Yep.
Start passing these around.
Alright, put it in the right spot.
You can sign it.
Oh, thanks. Yes.
haulers.
Speaking of trash haulers, don't forget to fill out your survey that we sent out with the census.
I already did.
Alright, good.
I already did. See how good we are?
Why did I say that out loud? And recorded.
Live.
Alright,
So
and
make
so
sure
I'm
they send
passing
them
that
last
round. Again, your signing is your approval of the application. The next category,
Yeah, they just gave us a huge discount.
Really?
Yes, I called them up and I said,
How do you rate a discount?
our
gave the
septic
sad story.
haulers. First we have Wind River Environmental, submitted by, Dave Perry and Ken Fuller. They're from Marlboro. We have Jeff Lawrence of Lawrence Septic and Sewer Service. We have, Favreau Septic Services, submitted by Holly Favreau Shaw. And we have,
"Get it."
Machete and Sons, and it was submitted by Frank.
Got done this year. An even year. Time to empty this out. That, it goes up so much every year. $100, I think, the last time it went up over 2-year
We
period.
tried to get favor, but they were so booked. And then they forgot about us.
I always use Machete, I don't know why, we just have ever since we moved here.
Yeah.
I used to do the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, but it's, I should probably shop around and compare prices at this point, they've gone up a lot.
Yeah, me too. All those
Been on
favors
the
came out
Hubbardston
next
people
week.
page, hey, what are people paying for septic emptying?
They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, they will
Aye.
tell you, with some moaning and groaning.
These septic and haulers, only have one member's line, just sign it,
It's all that.
fill it in.
Throwing things at me,
Sorry,
Judy?
Yes.
Give me again.
Oh, I missed one.
Yeah, you did.
Kathy missed it too.
Yeah, you did, oh, yeah.
Is this a separate one?
Oh, yeah, she did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Favreau.
It got cut up with the other one.
All right, well, she can sign that.
Okay.
There is Studio Macaroons.
Yeah, what, yeah.
I wanna go there.
Studio macarons.
Or macarons.
Oh, it's a residential kitchen.
Been here since 7 a.m. I haven't eaten much. Saw the word macaroon.
That's what I think.
Alright.
Well, I have 6 muffins made by my granddaughter.
I have a Kind Bar
In the
now.
car.
It's in the car, I lied. I left
Yeah.
my Kind Bar in the
We
car.
just
I have
made
a
this
mint at the bottom of
afternoon.
my bag.
It's got lint on it? Yes. Okay, that was just being mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, next we have, food establishment / kitchen permits. And we currently have the Hubbardston Center School. We have, Savo Birra, Birra, B-I-R-R-A.
Where's that?
He's, he makes and sells spice mixes.
Oh, yeah, we had
And,
that last year. They
yep.
came through.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have, the One Stop Shop, food
Yeah.
establishment permit. And we have Studio Macaroons, on Templeton Road, which is a residential license. We have Hubbardston Market, for which some of these have more than one permit attached.
Do we have to sign each one?
Yes. Hubbardston Market has the food permit, food establishment permit, their frozen dessert and ice cream permit,
Wow.
their milk permit, and their retail tobacco sales permit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't
She's a
have
separate-
the
That doesn't-
diner then, right?
There's, and we have the diner. Do I have it? Is that
It's
what
not
this is?
listed
It's
on
not
here.
listed.
Oh,
The diner's not listed?
no, we have, Rieta Ranch.
Oh, but we don't have the diner.
So I had a discussion, with Nancy, only Rieta Ranch correctly sent in the correct amount of money. If you go on the website, you can look on the forms back here. And it tells you the permit fee and then inspection fees. And, not only, and also, as far as commercial ones, the studio, Macaroons, and, Sabo Bira, Bira, sorry, I'm slaughtering the name, they were all correct. So there are notes on here for additional monies to be collected, the permits will be held, and we'll sign them off tonight, but we're gonna hold them until the monies come in,
Okay.
okay?
Did
What
we
are the-
update the website
For,
for the, is that what you said, the fees were wrong on the website? And then
no,
we-
no,
No,
they're
they're on the
on,
paperwork.
they're all
Oh.
in the paperwork, but
Okay.
the individuals did not do it correctly. It's we sent out individual letters with the form to fill out and, with the attached information that's needed, and also, what the fees are, and they didn't fill it out right, send in the right amount, in some cases. Okay, so we'll sign off on these tonight, but the permits will not be mailed out till the money comes in, the rest of the money comes in.
Okay.
What food do we have? The one-stop shop.
What food? That's Mr. Mike's.
I've never been inside.
Oh, you've never been inside. So they have ice cream, milk,
Okay.
and so those are two permits,
So-
tobacco, there's a,
Yeah.
and, well,
They used to have one,
I don't know if there's still a deli in there.
No, there is not.
No. Yeah, but they have.
yeah. They used to have a coffee stand.
Grab and
too.
go
I don't know if they have.
Yes, they still have coffee for sale, and slushies, and,
They have coffee? Do you need one? It's a little late for that.
so there are, so the one-stop shop,
We're just getting silly now.
we just have the,
Yeah, cause we've all been up since 7.
food establishment service, and
6:30?
we,
Yeah.
they also need to submit for the 3 other items that they sell, the milk and cream, the milk distribution, and tobacco sales. So,
Our friend, Joan hasn't been around yet with the tobacco thing.
no, she hasn't.
Did she separate the ones that were more than one?
Oh.
Did you separate the ones that were more than one permit, or
Who is
do we need to go
that?
through?
No, that's only one.
Oh, that's,
This is only one. I think the ones that are more than one, she still has.
okay.
We double check, thank you. Oh, that was right. Yes, this one's
That's only one.
I forgot this from last year.
Did you? You better not forget next year. Yeah, they usually come in at the same time because it's that time of year.
Judy has, I believe, is it the last one?
That's only
I have
one.
the
You guys
macaroon.
could be like the board of
Macarons.
registrars, we can get you a stamp.
And you really, really
Nice.
need stamps.
No, real, so,
Oh, neat, you're gonna get us stamps?
That's
Oh,
what I heard.
That's what I heard too. Wow, that's so nice of you.
we're,
What do we do
I'm now
business
starting
cards?
around, Hubbardston Market, and there's 4 permits to sign.
Okay.
Well, they're at one point, because we'd go in and into homes once in a while.
Do you guys all have your badges?
Nope.
Yeah, they
Never had
got,
one.
they got more of the little cards, so.
Yes, I have my
Did they,
badge.
did they actually get the machine to work? For a while it wasn't working.
Yeah,
Never had a badge,
I don't have a badge.
which is not special enough.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
At one point, you could use your badge to go through the airport, just showing your badge.
Ooh, that seems dangerous.
When we went on, Dennis and I went on a trip, that's, showed the badge.
Nothing to bad.
Those
I'd set it for a
pre-9/11
town
days.
It
Sure
was
was.
pre-TSA.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's 4 on
Is
this
it
one.
on personal account?
Just kidding.
Yeah, but is that, oh, I guess it does cost some, right? A town email account?
Oh, town email account, that's so expensive. I was shocked the first time,
Really?
I'm like, yeah, $25-30 a month per. Yeah.
Oh,
Cause I really
wow.
wish I didn't have to use
That's
my
why,
personal email.
that's why we don't have a ton of them, like, there are some people that, much like the Board of Health, that really should have them that don't.
This is 4 permits, did you get all 4? Come on, Judy.
Yeah, cause you may even have to have a town account.
Yeah,
So I ended up using I ended up using the emergency management account in order to get into Maven.
and there are bulk discounts, but I don't think we come anywhere near them.
But maybe like
Could we-
50 or
Yeah, we
100.
need.
Could we like hook up with some other towns and do it like that way as a big?
Maybe.
Like
No,
make it
now come
a
on,
big
more
town?
regionalization,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, I'm a big regionalized
No.
person, oh yeah.
I hate it,
Why each little town has to reinvent everything, you know? Why not just,
many reasons,
cause you don't wanna do it the way they're doing it?
no. We need to keep our,
Keep our
Yeah,
business to
there's-
ourselves?
there's
That
no-
way?
that too.
There's multiple to this one.
You got it?
Ooh, this one's got a check attached to it.
They're not my best signatures.
Yeah, I just have to watch to make sure I put the right number of loops at the end of it. This is Rieta
Nobody's
Ranch.
checking anyway.
Rieta Ranch has multiples, guys.
Can't wait till Rieta Ranch opens back up.
April, right?
Yeah.
Start up,
Yard sales are my favorite. That's-
Oh, yeah.
I hate that.
It's sad that I've lived in this
I
town
live next to it,
24
so-
years, I've never been there.
I don't really go there, but I like the townwide yard sales, like going to the other towns
Oh,
and looking
yeah.
through their
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Seeing how they live.
Yeah.
I just love Sundays driving down 68 because everyone just sticks their junk out and it goes, someone will pick it up. Someone from Rieta will pick it up. Anything you wanna get rid of? Sunday,
put it on the,
68.
put it on the corner.
Yep.
Talk to your neighbors and put it on the corner.
Yeah, we haven't talked to our neighbors. Well, they don't care. Yeah, because they know it's gonna be gone by the end of the day.
That's how I got my wife her duck boots, and she wasn't impressed at all. So.
I like some nice duck boots. What size
I
are
thought
they?
they were nice too.
What size are
She was
they?
like, well, what size? I told her the girl seemed very clean. Like,
Spray them, a little Lysol
Yeah.
in them.
So she's not a fan of yard sales.
there's enough stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have.
We did it, guys.
Well, I work in a thrift store, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
some of the stuff comes in with tags on it.
so, Nancy was going through paperwork
Uh-oh,
and found that there were engineering plans approved 11/4/2021 at 53 Barry Road. These have not, there's nothing in OpenGov and there's nothing in Laserfiche for this property. So she's established the septic repair, all the septic accountability that she does for us now, which
Yep.
we had asked Mallory to do for years and never did. So this is one of those cases that,
So there's
we're just gonna look at,
there's an existing home
yes,
and they repaired a septic system and it was never approved by us, is that right? Just looking for clarification.
Who approved it?
The engineer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
it was
this is
approved by the engineer, I'm assuming, but we
On
never
11/4.
and
reviewed it.
never
on
signed it
Sundays.
off.
our previous engineer, which was Tim Newton. No longer
Oh,
works
this
for
is
him.
2021.
Correct.
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, like,
I thought this
that was,
was a couple months ago.
that infamous
And,
year.
the
Mm.
reason this all came up is finally effective November 27th, 2023. A street number was assigned, so I guess they moved in finally, to an owner and the street name. So that comes to our office as well, because many times it's a lot number. And so when that came up, she went searching, and guess what she found? All this paperwork that appears to have been done correctly and signed off.
So was it a new build or, I'm just a
New
little-
construction,
New
yes.
construction, okay.
And was
So it took them
approved-
several years to move in,
Yeah,
complete
apparently.
everything and move in.
And was approved by Tim right here,
Okay,
2021.
okay.
Who knows what he billed the town for, because that is part of the issue. But we're gonna review it now, so
Okay.
that it's
Review.
reviewed. Okay, anything else
Alrighty.
that you wanna see on the property? There it is. Well,
Kinda weird it took so long to complete the project, right?
Well, there's still that house up on Gardner Road there that they're still working on, the one across from, up by the daycare there.
Where's your heart? What if
Up
it
by
was a
a plum
passion
tree.
project like the
Across from
Newport?
Plum Tree.
And he
I
was
think
building
is
it.
that-
Build it
is that
themselves.
Yeah,
this-
he was building it himself out of
No,
plywood.
maybe.
no.
3-bedroom.
What was the name, what was the road
Berry.
that they
Berry
put
Road.
Berry? Yeah, Berry, no, this is on Gardner Road, it's across from Plum Tree Lane.
Oh, that's been finished for a while now.
No, they're still working on it.
That must not be the one I'm thinking of then.
It's a little, just a little ranch,
Alright, well,
maybe another year. Somebody may be in there, but they're still working on it. Alright, there's the septic system,
proposed well, so the well wasn't in, okay.
a good 160 feet away from the house.
Yeah. No, I'm not an engineer. Looks
Oh.
okay.
Well, you just gotta look for the coming down. Oh. Where's the driveway on this thing?
Here,
Holy smokes.
so part of it, I don't know, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a long driveway. Oh, that's the garage.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow. A gravel driveway?
all the things you'll learn about housing, just so you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot to it.
And they're putting on a gravel driveway?
Well, you know how much it
I
would
know
cost to
that- I know
pave that?
Yeah, well, it cost me 14,000 to do mine, so.
Did you say there's a new street name though? Is there a
That-
street too?
No, the address.
Yeah, just the address.
The mailing address was assigned
But
just
the
in the
winter
end
is
of
not going to be kind.
November.
Holy
So
cow.
all of a
That was a
sudden, that
big driveway.
comes to Nancy to
Yeah.
go in the packet, and voila, we found that there's,
Yeah.
this is one of the
Elevational,
ones
it
that
looks like they put it up
went
on at the
through.
higher elevation,
Yeah.
so it's
Right.
like
That's
958 and this
This
is
would be
lower,
the lower,
so it's going down.
down.
So they probably wanted to build it up high,
Yeah.
maybe they got a view or something from up there.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Oh, this was part of that.
I bet it's beautiful.
yeah, this was not
Sorry. It's folded
All
very
right,
well.
so I'm gonna sign off that we reviewed it, okay? Under old business, the nursing position, Judy did a nice job, speaking about the position, with the select board in December. And however, looking at all the financial situation that we are currently under and don't have the monies that we thought we had, I think we're gonna have to table the position for now. I don't know how we can go forward without finding a grant.
So does that mean we have to continue to pay MPHN for
No.
coverage?
Judy has signed on as our Maven person for the town, And so we are not paying MPHN $1,000 for nothing.
Yeah, they
We
didn't
are
give us a
saving
single
that much.
report. They didn't give us a single report. It
No.
was kinda silly.
Thank you, Nancy. I mean Judy.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
So when they stop giving the money, when the final payment or whatever, their accountant gets back to them and says, there's no money from Hubbardston, then I guess they'll stop monitoring the Hubbardston.
So we don't need to pay them for anything now?
No.
We pay for a membership, an annual membership for $600, to be part of the regional, consortium, if you wanna use that word. What that benefit gave us this year was they provided our town with a flu clinic.
Which we can get from CHC for free.
But for this year, it was worth being part of.
Oh, that, I meant to mention that, I'm sorry, under the flu blah blah thing. I did get an email from the vaccine coordinator from Community Health Connections.
Okay.
Full disclosure, my husband runs that. And Community Health Connections, yeah, he's their president and CEO. Anyway, she did say that if we wanted to run any more flu clinics, they would come and do that and provide that for the town.
Community Health
So-
Center would?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I never go back to her, cause I'm
Um,
a horrible person, but I will.
Okay.
I'll tell her that that's great, but we don't need it right now, but that in the
Correct.
future I will be in touch with you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Cindy. Cindy,
I don't know if it was Cindy.
okay. Yeah,
It's all right.
we've got good connections with them now, between Lisa Ellen and her husband.
Lisa Ellis, I used to work with Lisa Ellis.
Yeah,
She was a school nurse way back in the day.
Yep.
so,
So, just to bring up the Massachusetts Behavioral Helpline,
that's,
that came out, is
Yeah,
forwarded as an email to us.
Yeah, we talked about that last meeting, didn't we?
So
Judy?
one of
Yeah.
the questions is, we did approve then, do you remind me, to have this put on the website,
Mhm.
Board of Health, right?
Yes, that's what they had asked
Yeah.
for us to do, is to put that onto the town website, so that it would be available to people.
and one of the centers for behavioral health is the Community Health Center.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they're using CSO, so they're not using CHC.
Okay.
They're using CSO centers for that, cause I asked.
Okay.
I'll make sure
And he
I
said, no, they're not using them, they're using CSO.
date
Um,
this so that,
Where's that, where would that be?
might have been that I didn't
I think there's one
mark
there
that we
that's-
reviewed.
I'd have to
Be
look
my
it up,
fault.
I'd have to Google it.
Yeah, we should get that in as a resource, put that on the website as to where the closest one.
Yes, yeah. But that's a brand new thing, you'd think that the state would be really pushing that.
I see a lot of commercials for it actually.
Do ya?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the beginning of the like YouTube videos.
Is there
and-
any way we could get that put on our fancy dancy electric sign at the gazebo?
Yep.
About the
You
new,
fill out the paper, they're on the website.
yeah, cause I think that might be just a helpful thing
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
town. And that's a quick and easy way for people to kinda see. You know, knowing that there's a state run line that you can do
Yeah.
and then be hooked up with a mental health provider.
Yep.
Okay,
Are you gonna?
I'll
you
fill
gonna
it out.
ask Nancy to do
Nancy
it?
and I will,
Okay, great,
I'm
thank you,
making
Kathy.
myself a note,
Thank you.
have to write it down,
I know.
everything has.
Another, you should have a pack of yellow stickies.
Yeah, stick them on her forehead.
Oh my gosh, I have them all over the house.
Yeah.
I know, it says fancy sign.
Yeah. It's the, I don't know, the gazebo sign, I don't know, whatever you wanna call it. So are we, the one that was at the rec field, electric sign, is that permanently gone?
Travis is
That's
the,
probably at the highway.
yeah, that's the highway department sign.
Okay, so they're not gonna keep it at the rec field anymore though?
I
Good.
think they just pulled it in for the winter, and
Yeah.
actually, I think it came
Yeah.
originally, was it up through the police that,
We're getting another one too. I think there
Oh.
was a grant a couple months ago
Oh,
for
nice.
Yeah, they're like
Right.
2,300
Cause the rec
students.
field, I just think is a really good place, because a lot of people bring their kids there for
Yeah.
sporting things,
Um,
and there's all kinds of activities, and
yeah.
that's a good place to try
Yeah,
it.
it'll be, it's
Yeah,
probably
this-
just
yes.
seasonal.
But you
Okay.
want that notice on the
Okay.
one over by the fire station.
Correct,
That's the
I made
fancy
myself a
one.
note to do that. Let's keep moving along.
Yep.
We're doing fine.
So, um,
What is an HSCS sanitary?
Hubbardson Center School.
the
Oh.
center school survey report, and
Yeah, so-
Nate had,
Yeah.
you were here, so you can speak to it, but he sent us a note that he met with them in December and discussed that most of this is administrative on their end, and they're working on it, and will provide us an update when one is available. And
Yeah.
that, again, this is something that we will review because it's, some of the things are issues with water and septic, and so therefore it comes under our umbrella of responsibilities, and thank you.
Yeah.
Anything you get, I'm
Oh,
glad-
absolutely. I met with them on December 11th. We talked about how the report violation definitely came on strong for what was actually held within. It's a lot of administrative stuff. They're going to work on that. I have yet to hear back from them yet. So I'm sure if there's any money involved, we'll hear from them quite quickly.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Then, Nancy just wanted us to bring up a reminder, for that you have done your FEMA,
Yeah, I started the NIMS.
ICS,
I
and,
started the NIMS and I haven't finished it.
and then the NIMS, so we need to keep working towards getting those completed when we can online.
Oh, she wants copies?
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna keep a
We're keeping
copy
a whole
in the-
folder of it, if you have
in the
yours.
folder.
Oh, I have 1,000.
Yes,
Yes.
did you send them in? So, that's it.
I think I've taken the ICS course 4 times.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Number 10.
So next is, the appointment of the inspector for handling complaints, food inspections, and housing, which I have been doing as a volunteer, because I am on the board. I will be, just to let you know, with the housing this year finally, they are offering a, training update. There hasn't been one for at least 5 years, due to COVID and other things going on, and the fact that public health did not have a very high priority until COVID hit. And now there's all kinds of training opportunities that any and all of us, they're encouraging us to do in a wide variety of areas that don't all fall into things that we want to do or are able to do for the size of our town. They're more for small cities, large cities, and so on. But January 25th, I'll be attending the housing certification. The food, I'm up to date on, and we approved the complaint standards of operation earlier this fall, so I will back out and say, you can say what you wanna say. Do you want me again to handle that this year?
The inspections and
Mhm.
that stuff. If you can handle it, I don't know
Mhm.
if anyone else is gonna step up to do that kind of stuff. Honestly.
Well, there's
Who has
one,
time?
one under new business, I'll tie into that. We did get a notice again to, apply for a public health intern from,
Oh,
the
I saw that.
colleges.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to be turning that in. I do hope that, Judy would like to have a health survey done for the town for specific things. I would like to see that if we can work with someone to get them interested in becoming food inspectors and such, so that they get, we need more people in that field.
And sanitarium.
And, yep, and towards sanitarian positions. Most of the sanitarians that are doing the towns around us are older than me. So, it would be good to encourage, training public health college students to look into that. So I hope to put that into the intern program.
Do we have to contact the college then for it?
Oh, I have the application email, I'll fill it out and
I
send it.
mean, like, where are these interns coming from? Do we have to contact, like, Worcester State is the only one in the area that offers a
that's-
public health program?
I don't have it in front of me, I believe it's from Worcester State,
They
Okay.
reached out to us.
They
Yeah,
reached out
did.
to us
They
every
reached
year.
out and then,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's-
have the
that's-
email at home, I can't,
That's
well, maybe I
Jaime
can pull it
Vallejo.
up.
Professor,
it's an MDP, it's the Massachusetts Department of Public Health Local Health Internship Program.
right, they provide the funding.
Yeah, the
But
host
the question
application.
is, where is the intern itself coming from?
All over the place, I think.
So,
Yeah, they handle
I didn't know whether
which
they were going to.
students are applying for it, and then
Yeah,
they
they-
Yeah,
review
they do it,
and
and then
assign them,
they
There's
look at what we
internships.
need and they give us
And then
somebody
they
who
assign.
fits that, our
Right.
need, is what they do.
From this area.
Yeah.
Last year
They-
they had too many towns applying for the number of 40-some interns.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't get one last year. We have had an intern in the past.
Yeah.
Of course, during COVID, there was no internship program. It was on
Yeah.
hold for 2 years minimum.
Yeah, they said
So-
they
If they just provide the funds, we can,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
could
they're
contact
paying-
Worcester State and see if somebody there would like to do it, cause that's how I got my, MRC was going through Worcester State, their public health program. But that's when I found out that's the only school in the local area that offers public health specifically as a degree.
Yeah, so the state is paying them $17 an hour, the interns, for 160
Oh, I paid 20.
hours.
And they get college
So they get
credits.
so they get we get 160 hours of their time, and the state pays
And
them
they get-
$17 an hour. One of their suggested things was that, we could have them come and test for PFAS in the environment of Hubbardston.
What?
PFAS.
Please don't test for PFAS in the environment of Hubbardston.
I know, well, we know they're in Westminster,
Oh,
so.
Yeah,
we're
no,
joking.
yeah.
Several
What kind
places
of
have done their own
industry do we have
testing. Homeowners who are concerned and have done it
Yeah.
and paid the $300 fee to do it and have tested completely clean.
Good. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
we've
worked
gotten
for,
several back.
I worked for Princeton before this, and that's one of their biggest problems.
Them
So-
too?
Yeah,
Princeton
well,
and Westminster?
theirs is an issue. A mutual aid fire department came and put out a fire at the old Princeton Inn right on top of that hill. And one of the fire departments that will never be named used a foam that
Was full of.
yeah.
Oh.
So now the town hall needs a water system and they need to buy water for all the people within a certain proximity. It's a whole mess.
'Cause that stuff never goes away.
No.
Never goes away.
Okay, I wanna backtrack
Yep,
to the
yep,
item
yep,
at
yep.
hand, reappointing me if you would like. I can't do it. I have to abstain because it's me. So it's up to you to,
Okay, so
Make a
we I make a motion to nominate Kathy as our inspector for food and, what else was it? On a
complaints,
volunteer-
food inspection and housing.
Yes, that, on a volunteer basis.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we did have a complaint of an odor come in. Came in on Monday through an email. I investigated on Wednesday, and they are scheduling a septic tank pump. That should handle the problem. So, it's okay. We did have one complaint this time. All right, next we have, several turnovers and warrants for approval. Turnover FY 24-6 from December 13th. Was for a total of $2,230. all going into account number 4320-009 and -00040. Some of them, so it's split between two accounts. Pass that around.
And where?
Then we have, F-24, number 7, for a total of $2,766, also submitted, 12/13. Going in the two different accounts, and here's a copy of all the receipts.
That number, I wish it said what the account was.
Yeah.
We have one for F-24-8, scheduled departmental payments to the treasurer from January 4th for $1,875. If you look at who
So-
sent it in, you can see which account it's going to.
Yeah, the account number, is
Right.
there, do we know what account goes with that number?
Is there like a name attached to the account?
So this, if you give it to me, I can quickly say that account number,
Most of these are the 0009.
the 000s are septic.
So why can't
Zero,
they
zero,
have a,
zero, zero is everything. I
I-
can pull the accounts for you.
well, it would be just
And the
simpler
O-
for us peons here.
The
If-
09
if
is, should be
you had like
for
an extra column that
revolving.
just like put the label.
I'm not opposed to that.
Or even just a thing saying, this number is this account, this number is this account, and then we just know
No,
where it's going.
that's a little more complicated. I think if you just put an extra column
Okay,
that says septic or whatever,
and we have schedule of bills payable.
this is payments to the treasurer.
every
This is
month
money
we-
going in.
Pay, Republic Service for the construction dumpster
Yep.
at DPW. And in order that was not, late, because we did not have a meeting, the $78.68 had been paid, but we are now reviewing and approving that.
Oh, do we have to sign this, Kathy?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
5780 is septic. 2712, sorry, we're going by the first number. They're all 5780.
Correct.
So
You have to
it
go by the last four, either 4 zeros or 0009.
Yeah.
No, they're dictated by the first four numbers.
These
Oh,
say-
really?
So plumbing and gas is 2712, recycling revolving is 2714, septic revolving is 2715.
That's not even on there, just says GL account and there's like a whole bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Isn't it, I think,
Yeah, no, it's none of those numbers
Oh,
he's saying, yeah, it's none
Not
of that.
2718, it's not just 27160005780000. Huh. Those,
Yeah, see,
Okay.
that's why we have
So I don't know
issues.
what numbers are on those, but they're not tying into anything.
Then the last item, to be, approved is, Colebrook Springs for $50. That is Richard Stevens, who, is from another town, who's a health inspector, who came to, you wanna look at that
Oh,
one?
your kitchen?
To do my residential kitchen permit
Yeah.
license, or
Yeah.
inspection, excuse me.
Yeah.
He is the one inspection that we do have to pay for annually, cause obviously I cannot inspect myself.
there's some digging to be done.
Yes. Most agreed.
of us have the
Don't.
bandwidth to be able to go and do these projects that need exploration, because we're doing what pops up.
We're trying to maintain
Yeah.
offices.
Yes.
Yes. Get that right. Okay.
You printed my report. You're awesome.
I guess so. Color too.
Yeah, she's spending all the money.
Yay.
Quarter one, quarter two. Yeah, it was pretty fancy.
Yeah.
You could actually read it as a
Yes, this is
Ordinary-
excellent looking.
No, thank you.
user
It
friendly.
really is. Because
And I took one of Dennis's paper clips.
you want,
No,
anybody
I
else
have
need
a
to
copy
see
of
it?
it.
Alright,
I made that for you.
oh, thank you. I'll add it to the financial reports file. See how, see my stack? This is
Yes.
all financial stuff I'm trying to sort through. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you for coming and
Thank
staying
you
the
for having me.
entire meeting. Appreciate that. And our next meeting is to be Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, 7 PM here in the Slade Building, weather permitting.
On February 5th, we will be having the Hubbardston Legislative Delegation come down and speak to different people about priorities. It'll be very similar to what we did with Ann Goby in November. So if you're interested in that, this one's gonna be during a select board meeting, but they'll open it up and we'll probably go into the other room. So that's happening.
That's wonderful.
February 5th, you said?
I'll promote the heck out of it.
Okay, good.
And I will be out of town the 29th, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of that week. I think it's 29, 30, 31. I'll be in South Deerfield taking another course,
So,
so.
we are doing our best as volunteers to stay properly educated as requested by the state health department, who has established over the last couple of years some standards
Oh, yeah,
for
we-
public boards of health.
Look at that.
Yeah, we do.
So,
Yeah.
as far as I know, we are meeting the minimums for that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
so
the
that's
bare
good.
minimums.
What I haven't looked at from that is to see if there's any source of funds to do more
I
work.
know you weren't here,
Oh,
and I
thank
don't
you.
believe you were here.
Oh, thank you.
I have them.
Um,
Oh, thanks.
a lot of those courses and things they're providing are actually going to be free.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Right, but in the fact that there's this X amount of millions of dollars for all of this,
Mm.
we need to start digging as to whether there are any funds that can be appropriated directly to this town.
Local funds from DPH.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no.
It hasn't happened
Don't
for,
hold your breath.
I don't know how many eons, but
Yeah.
we can think about it. Keep our
Getting
fingers
funds
crossed.
from the federal level is easier than from the state level.
Correct. Especially since they announced that they have to do some cutbacks because the budget income is not coming in for the state.
I'll
right
let you
now.
know if I hear anything. I'm going to a meeting with Jim McGovern's office on the 26th to talk about different federal funding. It's not, I'm not holding my breath, but we'll see.
All right, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting
A
at
second?
9:13 PM.
9:13.
Liz, that was not funny.
All right, folks, thank you.
Thank you very much.